Depression is a frozen fear. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, just surrounded by assholes. A busy man is seldom visited by idle friends. No flies fly to a boiling pot. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Thought is action in rehearsal. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. A husband is almost always only a substitute for the beloved man, and not this man himself. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Friendship is an art of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past, and the only person better you should be. This is who you are now. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. If youth knew, if age could. Limitation in the possibility of enjoyment raises the value of the enjoyment. The best is always the enemy of the good. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. The first indication of stupidity is a complete lack of shame. People in general are insincere in sexual matters. They do not openly display their sexuality, but rather hide it by putting on a tight coat sewn from a matter called lie, as if it were bad weather in the world of sexual relations. Envy is destructive. Don't be tempted by it. Live by your own rules. No mortal is capable of keeping a secret. If his lips are silent, his fingertips speak. Betrayal oozes from him through every pore. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. At a woman's breast, love and hunger are crossed. Happiness is a child's dream, fulfilled in maturity. We are never so defenseless as when we love, and never so helplessly unhappy as when we lose the object of love or his love. Religion is a universal compulsive neuroses. A father's death is the most important event, the more heartbreaking and poignant loss in a man's life. Only the complete absence of sex can be considered a sexual deviation. Everything else is a matter of taste. A woman should soften, but not weaken a man. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. A man is sometimes more generous when he has little money when he has much, perhaps to keep from thinking he has none at all. We are so made that we can only derive intense enjoyment from a contrast and only very little from a state of things. The voice of the intellect is quiet, but it never tires of repeating, and listeners are found. People are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine. We seek more to take suffering away from ourselves than to gain pleasure. In the small matters, trust the mind. In the large ones, trust the heart. The secret of the human soul lies in the psychic dramas of childhood. Get to the bottom of these dramas, and healing will come. Every normal person is really only partly normal. We do not randomly choose each other. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. A joke makes it possible to satisfy a lustful or hostile instinct, despite an obstacle in its path. The scope of one's personality is defined by the magnitude of that problem which is capable of driving a person out of his wits. Masturbation is one of the primary abodes, the primary addiction. Subsequent addictions, alcohol, tobacco, morphine, are only its substitutes. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. We adults don't understand children because we don't understand our own childhood anymore. All adaptation is partial death, the disappearance of a particle of individuality. The energetic and successful man is the one who succeeds in transforming the fantasies of desire into reality. Maturity is the ability to postpone gratification. When people married, they no longer live for each other as they did before. They live with each other for someone third, and dangerous rivals soon appear for the husband, the household, and the nursery. When one does not have what one wants, one must want what one has. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. You do not stop looking for strength and confidence outside, but you should look inside yourself. They have always been there. Perfect, eternal, hate-purified love exists only between the addict and the drug. Time spent with cats is never wasted. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. Everyone owes nature and death. History is just new people making old mistakes. All people are born bisexual and later choose their sexual orientation depending on their life's circumstances. We enter the world with loneliness and lonely leave it. A woman will never want sex with a man who doesn't get her hints. The only shame in masturbation is the shame of not doing it well. Without love, we fall ill. Who lacks sex speaks about sex. Hungry talks about food. A person who has no money, about money. And our oligarchs and bankers talk about morality. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. There is no need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection.